Today's review is the Omega Globemaster. Now, this is one of those models that I think is often overlooked when people are shopping Omega watches. You know, they're looking at the most popular Seamaster, like the one that I own. This is my favorite watch I'm wearing today. They look at the Speedmaster, they look at the Railmaster, the Aquaterra is very popular, but the Globemaster really just doesn't get the love and attention that it deserves. For a couple reasons. One, the retail price is a little bit higher compared to some of the other stainless steel sports models, but I think most of it comes down to the styling. This is an interesting watch when it comes to the design. You see a lot of retro design elements seeping through, specifically the pie pan dial taken from the 1952 Constellation. I think that looks excellent. And if we look at the details, you guys can see it's an off-white color. There's some good depth and luster to it. The printing sharp, I like the font, and it's the perfect backdrop for these black polished hands, applied logo, and a star medallion just above the double step cutout for the date at the 6 o'clock position. As you guys can see from these macro shots, these hands, these appliques, they almost look coated. They're so black and void of any type of color. And then you get it in the right light, in natural light. And these things really, they really shine. You can see the rhodium plating, and it's a very good execution. One of the highlights, the details are sharp and rich. But we do have the pie pan dial, and I think it pairs perfectly with this tungsten bezel, this fluted bezel, and I don't know, the angles, the amount of brushing found throughout the case and bracelet, the wider center links, it lends itself to being a bit more of a divisive design, but so understated and under the radar. And it doesn't scream shiny, ceramic, polished Omega like the Seamaster does, kind of like the Aquaterra does. This thing has a lot less going on, but it's very organized, and I don't know, there's a draw to that I really get, but I don't think a lot of other watch enthusiasts kind of get to the same degree that I do. And there's nothing wrong with that. It kind of makes this watch one of Omega's best kept secrets. Now I look at this and I see more of a sport piece. I see all the brushing, very minimal use of high polish. It's found on the chamfered edges, it's found on the tungsten bezel, it's found on the medallion in the case back, but really this looks very casual at a glance. And so it works very well with shorts and a t-shirt, with jeans and a polo, but I think it looks very appropriate at the same time with a button-up shirt and tie or slacks and a sport coat. So again, very versatile, great specs, great dimensions. The 39mm size is so proportional. It's not overly long or overly tall. My wrists are 7.25 inches for just for reference, and I really like the way this looks and wears. To me, this is not a Datejust alternative. I think that's the term that's bandied about pretty frequently, and I think that is either done out of ignorance or just an oversimplification. Not mean-spirited, but you know, they both share fluted bezels. And what's interesting with the Omega is they've been using fluted bezels on and off since the 1930s, which really is almost 100 years ago. I mean, right now it's 2020 as of the time of filming this video, but that's quite a lot of history of using fluted bezels on and off. And one of the things that I don't know, I really like is the fact they didn't go with stainless steel. They didn't go with white gold. They went with tungsten, which admittedly is a very difficult metal to work with. It's expensive. It's adding to the overhead and the production costs. But in the end, it's the right move because it looks beautiful. It matches the stainless steel perfectly, but it is very difficult to scratch. And you know, I've grown accustomed to the scratch resistance of ceramic bezels like on my Seamaster here. And if this was just, you know, white gold or stainless steel, it would mar fairly easily. And that would kind of ruin the subtlety and the beauty of the retro design language here. And so the fact that it's tungsten really enhances the overall experience for the consumer on a day-to-day basis. I think it would be very welcome if Omega could take tungsten bezels and implement them, let's say on the Constellation. And oh, the Aquaterra, that would be awesome. If they could do a polished tungsten bezel that looks like stainless steel, oh my goodness, that would be fantastic. That would really help with hiding the hairlines and enhancing the scratch resistance on those areas that, seemingly get caught sometimes on door frames and whatnot. That area shows wear easily, and so you don't get that here on the Globemaster, and it would be great if they would expand that technology to other models in their lineup. Now let's talk about the bracelet real quick. I mentioned I like the wider center links. Each one of these links is a separate piece of stainless steel, and you get great articulation here. So it's fully articulated, nice drape, and you're going to be able to get a good fit here even though there is no micro adjustment because these links are shorter. Now this is the clasp. You have a butterfly style push button here, two buttons, and that opens the first side of the butterfly. The second side you have to use just a little bit of force because it's held in with ceramic ball bearings, which is nice to see. So it's a two-step process if you want to unfasten or refasten the butterfly clasp. And it has nice action, a nice sound, as you guys can see. So let's open it back up again and take a look at the movement beyond. This is one of the highlights of the model, in my opinion. We have a hybrid case back. So most of the case back is sapphire, where you guys can see the Omega Master Co-Axial 8900 caliber. You can see the arabesque finishing, the free sprung balance. If we move the rotor over here, you can see the twin coated barrels that hold the 60 hours of power reserve. But the center of the caseback carries a medallion, the observatory medallion that pays homage or tribute to the observatory trials that Omega would enter in the 1950s pre-COSC for accuracy, competition. So that's really great to see, paying tribute to the history. And one nice element is if I hold it completely perpendicular to the camera, that center medallion does not raise above the plane of the sapphire crystal. So it has a nice smooth feel to it. The back of your wrist is not going to be irritated by that medallion. And again, that's just an example of some nice attention to detail played on the part of Omega for this understated Globemaster model. Now let's talk some negative elements here. What would be those? Well, this carries 100 meters of water resistance, which I think is completely appropriate for a watch of this design. But the issue is a push-pull crown instead of a screw-in crown, and I would prefer a screw-in crown because it just gives you the peace of mind that your crown is locked into position and that water resistance is going to hold if you submerge the watch, if you take it swimming, if you take it to the lake one day. You could absolutely do those activities with the push-pull crown, but the screw-in feature just gives you that added peace of mind that I would prefer on this watch. Now the other thing is there is no micro adjustment on that butterfly clasp. As I understand, the updated Constellation model does carry a 2mm extension system on their butterfly clasp, so I'd really enjoy if Omega would share that tech into the Globemaster. It would enhance the day-to-day experience for the consumer. So that could be an area of improvement. But overall, it's a very subtle, understated, high-quality watch where the details really shine. It's not as loud and shiny as in your face as some of the other models like this Seamaster, like the Planet Ocean, even to a degree the Aquaterra. But I really like the way this is laid out and the symmetry, the luminescence. Again, those little details like your applied markers that carry the angles where those pie pin facets meet. It's such fun attention to detail. And the more time you spend with the watch, the more you notice and appreciate these little things that Omega has brought to the table. So I'm a fan of the Globemaster. I like the fact that they offer it in stainless steel. You can get it on a leather strap if you want to. There is only a $300 premium for the bracelet, so I would recommend you go for the bracelet since it is only a difference of $300. But the leather strap option's available. If you like two-tone, you can get two-tone. If you like full precious metal, there is that option. And then also there is a 41mm version that you cannot get on a bracelet. It only comes on alligator, but it carries one of the least expensive, impressive in-house annual calendar movements on the market. And so, I mean, again, that's Omega kind of flexing and showing off what they're able to do. I think that one is exceedingly sharp as well. So overall, very impressed with the watch and very grateful to Eric for sending this one in, allowing me a few days to check it out. And I mean, I will say Omega has become my favorite brand. They're really doing a lot of great things, and this Globemaster is no exception. So just in closing here, Eric texted me today and he let me know that he is planning a big purchase soon, so he will let this go if anyone is interested. It is a naked example. The box you see behind it is the box for my Seamaster, actually. So it will be a naked example, so no box, no papers, and it is worn, as you guys can see throughout this video. You can see hairline wear on the bracelet, on the case. The crystal is perfect, the timekeeping is perfect, the tungsten fluted bezel is perfect. So in the price, that's all reflected. He's asking $3,900 for the watch, and if you're interested in an OEM alligator strap for it, he can include that with a slight premium. But reach out if you're interested. My email is in the description. I can get you in touch with Eric. You can pay him directly, and then I can send you the Globemaster just directly to you. So that is available for those interested. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the interaction that I have with you. Let me know if I missed something, if you would like me to cover a particular point that I didn't convey very clearly in the video. Let me know in the comments, or you can send me a private email. So thanks again, guys. We'll see you in the next video.